Pie in the Sky Media.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, Criminal Mischief Nation. Welcome back to another bonus episode, special holiday, super special extra bonus episode of Criminal Mischief with Carolyn and Brandon.
Super special.
Yeah.
I love
Uh,
that. It's super,
I'm your
super
co-host,
duper double looper.
Brandon Morgan, with the great Carolyn Osorio. Carolyn, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm ready for Christmas to be over already. That's where I'm at in this holiday cycle. Ready for it to be fucking done, but it hasn't happened yet. So, yeah, there's that. But it was a nice surprise. You sent the episode very early this week, and so I had other things to do. I didn't get to it to my normal time, and I was just told a delightful story that I hadn't heard in years and years and years. And I never even really considered that a Christmas type of story, but because it spans so many seasons, it spans so much time, and it involves, suffering with scarlet fever. So yeah, it's a weird, but I guess it,
Of course.
I guess it could be a Christmas story. Why the Velveteen Rabbit?
Well, first of all, I love the story. I love it so much. And I think that I was thinking about the stresses of the holidays and how, like, as adults, it's tough, and just doing something like I've had people tell me that they fall asleep to my voice, and I always take it as a huge compliment. If anybody, has ever said that, I'm like, no, I love that. I love it that, because I have periods in my life where sometimes I have a hard time sleeping because my mind just races, and I don't like taking any kind of pills or drugs or anything I mean, nothing against any of that, but it's just like, I want to try to work through it and just calm myself down. There's things that I do, and my mind has just been racing a lot lately, so I thought, you know what, this would be really fun to do. And I just love the story. And I think that I love children's story. This one isn't like, I think we've talked about this before. I know we've talked about this before, but like one of my other favorites was, there's so many favorites that I have, but was the Giving Tree.
Yeah.
And then reading that as an adult was like,
What the
what?
fuck? Toughen up, Dad. Right? Quit being such a pushover. Make your kid work for something. You Jesus, you're ruining your
It was
kids.
the tree itself is
Yeah,
was
that's what I'm
being
saying. The
blamed.
tree is the father figure when I read the story, right? The tree is like, gosh, crack the whip or something.
Oh my
Jesus.
gosh, it's so funny because the tree is like, I of course see the mom because
Yeah,
obviously I'm that.
sure.
But like in this story, there's so many layers to it that are
Yeah.
not just, like, here's the thing, like there's a part of me that identifies as the little boy because I had this Pink Panther that my dad, I mean,
Mhm.
talk about like, man, I was like screwed up from the very beginning. My dad won me this Pink Panther at a fair,
Mhm.
like, and he gave it to me and I loved it. I loved it so much. And I loved it because my dad gave it to me.
Sure.
And it was just really, and I took it everywhere and everything, like with the Velveteen Rabbit, everything with that, that love of that. I was fortunate to, experience that with a stuffed animal in a real way, but then also the being discarded, and that's the whole thing with Toy Story. Like I didn't
Well,
make the connection until go ahead.
totally same. As I'm listening to it, I'm like, holy shit, Pixar completely stole the whole conceit of Toy Story from this. Like they
I
stole
know.
it. They
I
stole
know,
it.
and I got that I got that too. I was
Yeah,
like,
and
wow.
and they didn't. The difference was that Toy Story never explained
Mm,
how the animals sorry, excuse me, how the toys became
mm,
real, right? They didn't
mm,
the
mm,
whatever, the genesis of their being alive. Um, in the Velveteen Rabbit, they go to the supernatural with the flower and the angel and whatever, which is fine. But there's still one part in Toy Story 2, when the
Mm.
female cowboy tells her story all to that song, When Somebody Loved Me, and you see her under the bed forever, and then you think, oh my gosh, how long was she conscious of being under the for years, just
I
under
know.
the right? And then she gets thrown
Yeah.
and given into a bot, and and it makes you
Mm.
think about all of the toy. Like, what if that's so? As a grown up, I'm thinking about
I
my
know.
kids
And
up in the attic, right, getting shit on by mice. Like what the fuck? What is? Are they up there suffering? It was really just the Toy Story similarities. I found
mm,
shocking, shocking.
hmm hmm
Yeah,
But I think too that there's something about what makes a good, and having so many kids, I've watched so many kids movies so many, over and over and over and over again,
yeah,
and like so many great memories with books and kids movies. But like what really really makes them good and special are when they have these layers, when they
right.
have, it's not just that for the children, it's for adults too. And adults can, reminisce and think about who they are in the story or who they were in the story. Because, the Velveteen Rabbit also becomes kind of like the parent figure where you just give and you give and you give and you
Oh,
give and you
right.
give and you give and you give and you give, and then you end up in a rubbish heap, you know? And it's like, you know, and and you do it because you just get the love. You get to experience that. You get all those memories, and then and then but then in this story, he gets to become real. He did it
Yeah.
to do it, and then he becomes real. So like I just love that. And of course I love magic, and you're the Nana in the story.
Well, hold on. The part of it
Mm.
that really got me was when he was getting bullied by the real rabbits in the woods.
Yeah.
Like that was a really, I mean, that could be, you could cut that out as like a movie in and of itself, like without the first act or the third act. That was
hmm
the the
hmm
the the painful journey of self-awareness of who you
hmm
really are when you're out in the
hmm
world, not who you are in your protected life growing up when you're surrounded by people that either love you or are mean to you. Either way, that,
hmm
that the realization is going to be a powerful kind of growing pain kind of thing. And he
hmm
realized that, and that was rough. That was really rough to
Well,
listen to that.
I think too, like being, and not to get too like deep, but like growing up with not a lot of money, disadvantages with, my mom and things like that. I think these stories in particular for me took on a whole nother meaning.
Mm,
They were ones of like identification with these struggling characters and like giving,
yeah,
empowering, like to work through things, to have the protagonist work through difficult things. And I think that like it's fed into my love of biographies and autobiographies, because when you don't have mentors, you can read these books,
yeah,
you can read other people's stories, and you can train yourself how, if you have the discipline and you see what is required, and so I think that like I just think that it's a great story,
yep, I agree.
so
Yeah,
I'm
it
happy
was
that you
fun.
enjoyed it.
So what I had prepared for this episode, when I said to myself, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Is it really a Christmas story? And I think, at the end of the day, I think it is for some specific reasons. And so
Mhm.
it made me think of another great American debate as to whether or not
Oh, wait a second, I know what you're gonna do. Die
a
Hard.
hugely popular piece of cultural media is it or is it not a Christmas movie? And you're right, it's Die Hard.
That is you totally getting out of doing homework.
It is
That
Die Hard.
is so
Okay.
You.
No.
I
Oh, I
my
did the
my
home.
sons ask me this every year,
Okay. And what's
and
the
I
answer?
would say,
Where do you guys land on it?
well, I don't know where they land, but I land that it was when it came out, I didn't see it as a Christmas movie. I know
Hmm.
you probably will disagree. I saw it as an amazing action movie that I loved. I loved Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
I just loved everything about that movie when it came out. So I don't necessarily I do identify it more now as a Christmas movie because my boys do.
Hmm.
But for me, the total Christmas movie is Home Alone. That's my
Oh,
I
you
love that movie.
prefer like, I mean, Home Alone. Laughter built on child abandonment. Yeah, okay. That's a good one.
No, it's the same. It's the same. Like I said, it's the same story. The kid overcomes stuff. He
All
totally
right, so
like
that's exactly why Die Hard's a Christmas movie, and I'll tell you why. When I saw, I was 15. Like I didn't. It was just an action film. I didn't give a shit. Is it a Christmas movie or not? It happened.
exactly. Yes.
It happens over Christmas, but now, if you really
Yes.
consider it through the
Hmm.
adult prism of
Yeah.
symbolism and stuff, it's 100% a Christmas movie because every Christmas movie, including Home Alone, right, including
Mm-hmm.
just about every Christmas movie ever made, it has it it has an element, a major element of someone returning, of someone coming home or trying to come home. Okay, that's what
Hmm.
like the song, I'll be home for Christmas, you can count on me. Like that's a really nice song
Hmm.
until it fucking ruins you with the last line. I'll be home for Christmas
That's as
if
great as
only
Christmas.
in my dreams. So you're like, holy shit, he's not going to be home for Christmas. Holy shit. Right? Like it's a great
Hmm.
song until it gets you. And it hurts at the end because he's not going to be home. And Christmas is about coming home. It's about reconciliation. Right? And so
Hmm.
what Die
Hmm.
Hard very honestly shows us is that
Hmm.
oftentimes reconciliation requires confrontation. And so you look at John McClane, he's a man out of place from the beginning. He's a New York cop. He's gruff, he's rough around the edges, he's fucking barefoot. He gets along with his limo driver more than the corporate people in the C-suite, right? He gets there, his wife
Hmm.
has gone back to her maiden name, right? He's fighting for relevance through the whole movie.
Hmm.
So Hans Gruber, he's not a corporate terrorist. In the movie, he's a corporate terrorist, fine. But what he actually represents, it goes back to Aristotle, to the poetics, intention and obstacle. John McClane's intention is to be relevant in his family again. And the obstacle is Hans Gruber and a foreign army. Like that's all it is. And John
Hmm.
doesn't win because he's smart or strong. He wins because he's fucking stubborn and he just refuses to relinquish his rightful place in his family. Like that's it. That's all it is. So at the end, you're not like, yay, they're together. At the end, you're like, all right, this is how it's supposed to be. Because that's where he
Hmm.
belongs. He belongs with his arm around his wife, going home for Christmas. And so that's where
I
it
mean,
ends.
I would say that I think that, like, for me, when it comes down to it, the story is about like people forgetting what life and what Christmas and the spirit of giving is really all about. He didn't lose his relevance. She got swept up
She just
in,
she developed a new identity
no, I know, but she
separate
also
from
got
him.
swept
And
up in this fake and phony world.
the
But at the end of the
terrorists
day,
exploit that identity. They exploit it.
but but at the end of the day, he proved that like the most important values are family and love and fighting for your family. He
Yes,
fought. He wasn't
absolutely.
stubborn. He fought for his family and he was smart. He was smarter than all the other ones who weren't seeing it and all the party goers who were getting all coked up and like totally like thought that they were just the cool ones and like
Right.
people get so caught up in this fake and phony world and bullshit. And John McClane was the one that had the experience and the know-how to actually get the job done.
Yeah,
As
but you're
as
thinking
did
about it. But
the
you're thinking,
hold on a second, as did the officer who was like protecting his pregnant wife and who was, there for him and saw and was there, but you had all those FBI guys that were like just didn't know what they were doing And like it was these solid dudes that and that kind of saved everything, you know?
Right, but think about it. You're thinking about it in terms of the plot, which is fine because there's you can still make a Christmas case by staying with the plot. But if you think about it more symbolically, right?
Hmm.
It acknowledges the fear of estrangement, but John doesn't ever villainize his wife's ambition. He accepts it
Hmm.
despite his fear of losing relevance in his family, right? And at the
Hmm.
end,
Hmm.
Christmas movies demand they demand reconciliation. They demand it as a matter of course, but it's not romantic. They're exhausted at the end. They don't they don't fix their different they survive their differences. They're not reconciled.
Yeah.
They didn't resolve anything. They just put
Mm-mm.
it aside. They backburnered it because it's fucking Christmas
Mhm.
and you're here and we
Yeah,
survived.
it was an action. We weren't there for the romance
Yeah,
in this. Like
but how
they
often is that the case where in marriages differences aren't fully resolved? They're just acknowledged and like, okay, we're going to move forward despite these differences for the good of the family because we love each other and that love is more important than the things that you do that piss me off. Sometimes those differences get to be too much and the marriage fractures, sure. But a lot of times my wife and I don't agree on everything, hardly. Hardly. Right? But there are things that are more important than that, you know? And so that's what I get from Die Hard and that's what I get. Christmas becomes the pressure point for all of that shit. That's what makes him leave New York and bite the bullet and say, "All right, I'm the mountain is coming to Muhammad because I'm not going to villainize my wife's ambition." Okay, cool. I'm going to go do that and everything's going to be great. I like being a cop. She lets me be a cop. Okay, she's a corporate exec. That's fine with me also.
Hey, sorry about that. I think our Wi-Fi got knocked out.
Ah, okay.
Okay. So what were you saying? You were saying that in marriages, what?
Sure. What so it frames marriage as something that you defend, not something that's just going to be there like no matter what. I'm not saying you have to work for it. It's like John isn't welcomed home. John McClane isn't welcomed back into the family. It's the movie's about him fighting for relevance in a world that has moved on without him, and yet it's a Christmas movie. So Christmas movies have to have to end with someone coming home and it being okay, like no matter what. John doesn't save Christmas. John just earns the right to come home for Christmas. That's why it's a Christmas movie for
I think he saves Christmas.
me. Okay.
I think he
Okay.
totally saves Christmas. What are you talking about?
I think the reason it's a Christmas movie is at the end they don't give a shit that it's Christmas.
I think that he saved it because he saved his family. He was totally vindicated.
Okay. Okay.
And all of the
I
people that
respect your
were
opinion.
like all the highfalutin people that thought they were so cool were completely like they couldn't do anything. He was the only one who could save Christmas. And he did. I don't know why you don't want to give him that. Come on.
Because I don't, I honestly, because maybe, all right, I don't think that was his intention. I don't think he's like, I've got to save Christmas. I don't think that's what was it. I think if that happened, which it did, it was a byproduct of what he was really wanting to do was just to be with his family.
He is
It
a
could have been
complete
Easter. It could have been whatever.
protector. He's a complete protector. He, of course, wants to
Yeah.
protect.
Yeah. 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 So that's why I think it's a Christmas movie. It's about relevance. It's about and from a, like the same reason that like obviously Christmas Vacation is a Christmas movie, but for me it's a Christmas movie because it's about Clark. Uh, he wants to prove that he can deliver Christmas as a man. It's about being a man.
Now, he doesn't deliver.
No, he tries so
He
hard.
does
And look at him. He's
he doesn't
overextended. He's
deliver.
spending money on the pool that he doesn't have, right? He wants everything to be perfect and the lights to be the best and the tree to be the biggest and the food to be great. He's trying so hard to keep everything together. And when he breaks, it's you have to laugh because if you don't, you'll be like, "Yeah, I fucking get it." That part
Yeah,
had to be the
because
funniest part in the movie. Yeah.
guys like that who don't deliver.
Yeah.
They don't like the
They
wife
think
didn't want the biggest freaking tree.
right.
She didn't that wasn't that they had to cut a hole in the whatever. Like
Yeah,
she
yeah, yeah.
just wants him to be
Yes.
she wants him to be capable. He's doing all that for himself. That
He
was
well,
why
I
he
think he's doing
like
it because he wants to provide memories for his family. And you show and they hint at that when he's up in the attic watching home movies, remembering his great Christmases as a kid. He's trying to give those memories to his family. I think his intentions
yeah,
are
but he's
pure.
not
I
but
think
he's
he's
doing what
misguided
he wants.
because of what he thinks that they would like. Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
he's
agree.
totally
I agree.
wrong.
I agree. He's misguided. He's misguided, but I think his intentions are very, very pure. Um, and I can relate. I can relate as a husband and as a father of wanting to have perfect holidays and perfect vacations and perfect all of this. And I admit I'm guilty of sometimes overdoing it and going too far and having it be awful. It happens.
I I freaking love that. Can I love that? I love that you said
It's true.
because that's so true.
It's true. 'Cause I
It
want,
is
but my
so,
intentions are so pure. I want everything to be great that I miss the forest for the ugliness of some of the trees. That's all.
I know, but I don't think that I don't knowing you, I don't think that you're like him in that like I don't think that there's like this ego into it. I think that there's you want it to be so nice because you're trying so hard.
Yeah.
That's where you shine
Mm.
in having tasks to do
Yeah.
and accomplishing things for your family and delivering and being capable and like I think that you just want it to be really nice and you're dealing with human beings who like
Or
they could be
sometimes
having
ungrateful little shits. Yeah. 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 I know.
hence the Velveteen Rabbit. You see, I'm in a
Absolutely.
pit by the by
Yep.
the by the fowl house,
Yep.
peeking out, getting ready to get burned.
Gosh, scarlet fever. That came out of Merry Christmas. Here's scarlet fever.
You know what's so funny is I was like, of course this is the one that I choose, the one that's like tortured and like, but it's not.
Did you read?
It's
Are you
not.
a Hemingway fan?
I've read Farewell to Arms back in the day, a long
Yeah.
time ago, and
He's got a
what is his?
collection of short stories that are amazing, and one of them is a story called A Day's Wait, and it's
Hmm.
about um, an American family living in the UK, like on
Hmm.
business. All right,
Yeah.
and the kid gets sick. He just gets like the flu or something like pretty normal. Um, and in the beginning of the story, a doctor makes a house call and takes his temperature. Um, I may have it backwards. Hold on. Sorry, I may have it backwards. It's a UK family living in the US. Okay.
Hmm.
And that you'll see why it's important in a second. And the doctor comes by and takes a temperature and he has a fever of like 101 or 102, like nothing crazy and talks to the parents outside the door and then the kid just goes into this like almost catatonic like malaise of a state where he's just quiet and doesn't want to eat anything and he's being very like melancholy and whatever and they don't understand what's going on and his mother finally comes into the room after like a full day and it's like what is going on with you, do we need to get the doctor back? And the kid says, Mom, thank you for having a brave face this whole time when I know that I'm dying. And she's like, what are you talking about? He said, my fever is over 100. Back home, I heard kids saying that their grandfather died any fever over like 23 and you're about to die. Mine's more than 4 times that because it and she's like, oh my God, honey, it's
Oh.
like miles to kilometers. It's the met. No, it's not at all.
Mhm.
And so the whole story, the whole time this kid thought that he was about to die and everyone was just putting on a happy face like around him.
Mhm.
And so when the kid had like scarlet fever, and anytime there's a kid shows up in a piece of literature with a sickness like that, I think of A Day's Wait and that really interesting little kind of cultural twist on it that had this kid have this brutal day where he thought he was going to die. Guys, dude, yeah, your internet sucks. We should call this. Hello. All right. Well, Criminal Mischief Nation, sorry about this. Carolyn has been having some internet issues for most of the day, and it looks like it got her again. That's that's the weather for you up in the Pacific Northwest. Oh, there we go. I was
I'm
signing
sorry.
off.
Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I'm glad that you weren't like a brat about it with the magic.
No, gosh, it was a great story. It was a great story. Loved it. Loved it. And did you know at Disney up until a couple of years ago, if any of the Pixar characters were walking around like employees dressed as like Andy or whatever, and someone said, Andy's mom's coming, they would drop to the ground?
I didn't know that.
But then, of course, anything good, we as the human animal have to ruin, and people were doing it nonstop. So
Aw.
I know.
How did you find that out?
Because it would happen when I would be first time we took the girls there like 10 years ago.
Okay.
They would say that, and I'd be like, "Holy shit, that's so cool that they do that!" And the girls were like, "Oh my God, mom's coming!" So it was great. But anyway,
try not to ruin Christmas this year, okay?
I will try. No promises, but I will try. And great choice for the Christmas episode. That was great. A little less murder. Oh gosh, you and your internet. Okay. So, Nation, thank you. Merry Christmas. Hope you have a wonderful and safe holiday season, and we will see you next week. Until then, stay safe out there.
From Pie in the Sky Media, Criminal Mischief is an EVO production, recorded live in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. We're produced by Brandon Morgan and myself, music by Soundstripe. For EVO Creative, I'm Carolyn Osorio, your writer and host.